Hey guys, Dr. Ben here with the Brokerpreneur podcast, the ambassador of flow. I'm here with the big guy as usual. What's up, man?
Man, living the dream, just like always. We had a good class today, right? That was
so good.
It was such incredible information coming out, super helpful to agents and the brokers, and of course got us thinking about what we're actually going to talk about with this topic, right? We're gonna dig into this topic.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we do that though, I got two things I want to do. One is normal. The other one, I want to give a shout out to Eddie.
Yep. Cool.
Right? Yeah, just super cool guy. I was talking to him. He said, Ben, I thought podcasts were dumb. And
what?
Yeah, and I was like, okay. I put my thick skin on.
Right.
But then he said, I listened to one. And he's like, man, this is like really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the second one I came across was your all's, and I just love it. And I'm a regular listener. And he's like,
awesome.
he's like, now I'm a podcast fan. So just want to give a shout out to Eddie, man. You rock, you know it, and
I feel his pain. I thought the same thing.
Yeah, no, so many people do. It seems like when we talk to you, it's like, oh man, those guys just sitting around listening to themselves.
Yeah.
No, we're just trying to give back.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yep.
So
agreed.
The second thing that I'm going to do, you guys have heard it before. Wherever you're listening to this, hit that follow or that subscribe button. Go to Brokerpreneur podcast. Check out the new Brokerpreneur Fast Track. We got a sneak peek.
Yep.
Right there on the homepage. Just click on that button, sneak peek, take a look at it, and gosh, let us know what you think. So, Matt.
Yep.
What are we talking about today, man?
So, should I hire more agents, right?
Okay.
Or should I make the agents I have already more productive? What is the quickest route to me gaining some profitability?
I love it.
Yep.
So what's the answer?
Just like everything else in real estate, there's accept, decline, and amend. It's yes, no, or maybe.
I knew that was coming. We should rename the podcast.
Accept, decline, and amend.
Accept, decline, and subscribe.
That's right.
So we've got a list here in our notes, right? There's some pros, there's some cons.
Yep.
Let's just start with increased income.
Right. So the biggest thing if we're hiring agents,
mm-hmm.
and if we're just teaching people to be more productive, what do we think is going to happen? We automatically think it's going to increase income, right?
Oh, it's just going to skyrocket through the roof.
So take a look at your systems. Is that really what's going to happen with your systems?
Yeah.
Right. So if your systems aren't set up for that, right? And I know everybody. We're in the circle of honesty here.
Circle of trust, circle of honesty. We're all friends.
So, is your brokerage really set up so that if somebody comes on, they get up and get productive quickly?
Yeah.
Or do you struggle with that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. If you had 10 people sign up today,
right.
Is it like
how quickly would they start making money?
Would the whole place catch fire?
Right. How quick would they make money for sure, right?
Yep.
And how fast can you get them up and running if you hire them? Or, are all the people that you have right now, are they kind of static in what they're doing? Mm-hmm. And is it a fight for you to get them to start doing something different?
Yep. Okay.
So if you look around your office, do you have people that are like, yeah, I'm just really super comfortable doing things the way that I want right now, and you've got 80% of your revenue is coming from 20% of your people, right? A little Pareto principle kicking
Absolutely.
in there. And so now you're looking at them going, okay, I know those people. They're already operating at a high level, or they're already in that place. They're not going to do anything different. So if I go to them, am I going to be able to convince them to get more income?
Yeah.
Right? Because that 20% of the people might be like, no, dude, I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah.
I'm exactly where I need to be. And so now what you're trying to do is you're trying to kind of push the rope with that, right?
Yeah.
Or you're going to your middle tier people and you're going, okay, I really want you to pump it up and really want you to go a little farther and everything. And they're like, well, I'm exactly where I want to be.
Yeah.
Why do I want to go a little, right? So you got to be a little honest with, are your systems able to what capacity are they at?
Yeah.
Right? And then does everybody that you have already, are they happy with how much income that they're making? Okay. If not,
that's a culture thing too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's a whole different podcast.
But, yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm not getting into that.
But you're exactly right. That's spot on.
Yeah, and just to go a little bit, further on that, you got your systems. There's so much that AI and virtual things.
Oh, absolutely.
Virtual things can do these days. So it may be one of those things where you can talk to somebody and they say, "Well, I'm happy. I'm just happy where I am."
Right.
And you're like, "Well, what if?"
Right.
Right. What if you could do the same amount of, we'll say, work, quote unquote, But gosh, you had some digital stuff helping you too.
Right.
So
yeah, that would make a big difference for sure.
yeah, for sure. So let's look at better client relations.
Yeah. So whenever you're talking about recruits, right? So is it easy for you to find agents in the marketplace that match how you do business already?
Yeah.
Right. Are you in such a small market that you know everybody?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I know Betty Sue would do a great job in my office, and she's really going to adapt to those tools and do really well. Because at that point, right, maybe that is the thing to do is hire her, because she's going to adapt really quickly, and you're going to start earning faster, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of trying to get other people to do that. But the better client relations with your current agents, are they using everything that you offer?
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes if we have let me give you a big picture example here.
And the answer is no.
What?
Are they using everything you offer?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So are they using the, let's say you've got a great CRM and it has texting, right?
Yeah.
But the people that you're working with, they don't like texting, right? Mm-hmm. And so are they missing the opportunity to be able to work a little bit more in that CRM and be able to connect with some people by text that might be more responsive to that.
Yes.
Right. So what that means is your agents that are ignoring that capability of the CRM are actually ignoring a portion of their sphere of influence.
Yeah.
Because of how they want to communicate, right? So could you give a little better client relationship and immediately see a better result?
Yeah.
Right? Or could you hire someone that already has a good reputation that would come in and would be a good fit, and they would just automatically just fall into your tools and start and go get up and running like immediately, right?
Yeah.
So you got to take a close look at that, right? Which of those two is it gonna be for sure?
You remember when you had to text, 20 years ago, and let's say you were trying to text the word cab, you had to go like 111, and then wait for a second, one, and then wait for a second, 11.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine, guys? Right? We're like, oh, I don't know if I want to text somebody.
Right.
I don't know if I want to reach out. Like, what if?
Oh yeah.
What if they think this? They're there. Man, it's so easy to send a text.
Oh yeah. Super simple.
Yeah. So.
Super simple.
Yeah. Client relations.
Right.
So more. Let's go to number 3. More revenue streams.
Yeah, more revenue streams. So a great example would be, let's say that I've got an office and I've got five or 10 agents in there that are just fantastic at selling. They're all in there crushing it. We're doing 150 million a year in volume, and I'm super happy with that. Right.
Yep.
And I one day it dawns on me, well, 2 of those people deal with investors. They're doing a lot of transactions with investors. I wonder who does the property management for those investors.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So then you've got an option, right? Do I try to teach one of those agents to do that, right? Do I walk through my office and ask those 5 people, hey, would you want to do this? Would you want to do that? Hey, have you ever thought about commercial? Have you ever thought about this? Can I do that? So you start having those conversations, or do you go outside your office and you go find somebody else that's already a great property manager, and you say, hey, you ever thought about coming over here and working for me? Because I've got 2 of my people that are crushing it, that we might be able to get some of the investor business that they're getting that's going to someone else. We might be able to get it all under our umbrella.
Yeah. No.
Because your agents in your office, I mean, think about it, right? So even if they've got a best friend's sister's brother's cousin that works at a different company that they love and they swear would never steal their client.
Yeah, no, I know that guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah. So and they would swear that they would never steal their client. I've got my investor, and I'm literally turning over some other company to deal with the rental of that.
Yeah.
I'm at a distance of that relationship. I'm at risk there, right?
Yep.
Be a great broker and see if you can get all that under one umbrella and make sure that everybody just stays happy with your brand, showing up every month on the check stub that comes in that says, hey, here's your rent. Here's your rent.
Be an entrepreneur.
That's right.
A brokerpreneur. As a matter of fact.
Right.
So we're going to get to some cons. But let's hit up our last pro here as far as we got on our list. Brokerage branding, right? So you got all these agents. They're they're increasing their production out there, and you're doing your thing. That's allowing you to expand your brand, expand your reach,
Absolutely.
even if it's by one extra yard sign,
That's right.
every week or something like that.
Yeah. So if you're trying to grow your profits and you're going, okay, should I go hire more agents or should I really lean into the agents that I have? What's going to help me the best branding wise?
Yeah.
Right. So the agents that you have, could you make them a little more productive, like you just said?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Can they get some more listings? Right. Can they get some more billboards in the front yard of houses? Right.
Yep.
Or can they actually get billboards by doing something like commercial? Right. Some 4x8 things out somewhere on the side of the road. Right.
Right.
4x4 or whatever's allowed around you. So all of those things are going to push that reputation a little bit. However, it's also about you making sure that the people that are in your office are using your brand in order to get your word out.
Yes.
Okay. So are all the agents in your office, are they all saying, my brand is more important than your brand, Mr. Broker, so I'm going to minimize your brand as much as I possibly can just because my brand is the important one, so it's almost like we aren't working together other than what state law requires me. Okay.
Yeah.
If you have an office full of that's negatively impacting the money that you make. I'm just telling you. It just does. Okay.
Yep.
Because not only do the customers and clients not see that, and not only are you becoming, so what should happen is branding like that should be a partnership, right?
Yes.
Okay. It doesn't have to be an equal 50-50 or whatever the deal is, but it's a partnership.
Yep.
If your partnership is so small that nobody notices it, then right.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. So we get that. I won't go any deeper on that, right? Because you start getting into brokerage model philosophies and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
okay?
that's a rabbit hole.
Yeah, let's stay away from that. But the less that you have that from your current agents, the less brand recognition you have, the harder it is for you to make money as a company. Period. Don't take my word for it. Go do some reading and absolutely. Okay. All right.
Yep.
So look into the market. Take a look around. Are there agents that you could recruit that are proud to partner with a company?
For sure.
Right. I mean,
Yep.
some agents look at it like, okay, I've got to completely minimize the way the company looks in my advertising. And other agents, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah. They're like, this is my team.
That's absolutely.
Yeah.
And so is that somebody that you could bring on board? You bring that person on board and all of a sudden they're putting that word out. Now the other agents in the office, they kind of have a decision to make, right?
Yeah.
Right, especially if that person starts making some traction, especially if their client, who is their best friend, all of a sudden sees another opportunity with somebody in the same office, and they realize it wasn't as much about them as they thought that it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would take a look and see how much of the branding and how much of the marketing and the promotion and everything that was going on, how much of it is being pushed by you, and how much of it is being pushed by your agents. How willing are your agents to push that?
Yep.
And then are there people in the market that would be willing to transition to your brokerage that would be willing to push that?
Yes.
Or can you even financially incentivize them to come over to your brokerage and do that, right?
Yeah.
And so so those things are all those are some things that if you pay attention to, it's going to kind of help you make that decision. Do I need to go recruit more?
Yep.
Or do I need to hire those? Because as you go through this, right, some people are going to go back and listen to this again. They're going to take some notes and go, yeah, that is me, or no, that isn't me, or I'd rather have those agents than these agents. It's going to, it's going to point some things in a direction. You're going to go, okay, this really is one of the two of these. This is a better option for me.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you.
Let's throw some tiebreakers out there with the cons.
Yes, we're going to go, now it's like ding, ding, right, round 2. Right, because there's some tough love when it comes to growing and scaling a business, and you have to say, okay, before I use these strategies and I go gangbusters and I fix all this, am I ready? Right, as a broker or an owner. Yep. So it's a lot of work.
Yep,
that's the first one.
Absolutely, it's sometimes it's too much work.
Hey guys, this episode of the Brokerpreneur podcast is brought to you by the Speculo Group. The Speculo Group is the turnkey solution for agent and brokerage lead generation. With a focus on generating the highest quality leads from platforms like Google, YouTube, Facebook, and more, the Speculo Group is your one-stop shop to dominating your local market and beyond. Visit their website for more information at thespeculogroup.com. Yes.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Sometimes you look around your office and you just go, shit, this is too hard to get all these people working.
Yeah.
I'm going to go bring in some new blood. Let's see if we can refresh some things, right? That absolutely happens.
Yeah.
The other time, it's like, oh my God, nobody's moving in the market.
Yeah.
right? And I've got an office full of great people who love me, who want to win. Man, I just need to lean into them, right?
Yeah.
Either way, it's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to seem like it's too much work if you don't plan it out.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a plan and you don't have a real look at you know how receptive your current agents are compared to how receptive agents in the market would be, you know, if you don't take a close look at those, you might go, okay, the easiest thing for me is to recruit people and bring them in, but then you forgot about onboarding and you forgot about the initial training that goes on to get them up to speed with your tools and systems. Whenever we talk about onboarding somebody and training them, keep in mind, experienced agents are not exempt from that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, for sure.
So what they train on is different, right? So you're not going to go, okay, this is a lockbox. This is how you open a lockbox, right? That hopefully that's not going to be happening. But what's going to happen is you're going to say, this is our CRM. This is our marketing platform. This is how we submit escrow. This is how we do this. This is how we do that. You need to have that conversation with them in the beginning. They're going to forget a bunch of it.
Absolutely, they will.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you need to have that conversation in the beginning. Is that something that you have lined out? Is it something that's haphazardly happening across your brokerage already? Right. Mm-hmm. So if everybody just kind of turns in escrow, this makes my stomach churn, but if everybody just kind of turns in escrow however they want to turn in escrow, and they submit contracts however they want to submit contracts, and they complete things however they want to complete them, and they put it in the MLS however they want to put it in the MLS, please don't go hire anybody else. Fix that shit first. Right? Get that lined up. There is nothing more damaging. The worst thing you could do is scale a mess.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You don't want a wildfire getting bigger.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I was listening to something Frank Kern the other day, who's like a marketing guy, and he said, too many times, I start working with a client, and they're just like, here's some money, right? Like, do some ads, make some ads, right? Create some content, whatever. And he's like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Right.
He's like, we have to have a system generated that we've proven on a very lean budget. Okay, this works. When we put in $1, we get $2. That kind of thing. He's like, then at that point you say, okay, now let's scale. Now let's put the rocket fuel in the engine that's actually working, instead of putting the rocket fuel, in an engine you found like in the woods. Right. or in a barn. Right.
That's how you cause an explosion right there.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And I've seen that. High five. So it complicates the whole business model, Matt.
It does.
Right? That's the next one. And we just talked about complication. Fix that shit first.
It does. So as soon as you put pipes in a house under pressure,
yes, wherever
the leak is, or wherever the weakest point is, wherever it's not put together right, that's where things start coming out. So, that's why they do pressure tests on new construction, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why is because they don't want things leaking all over the place. Well, does your model have leaky points? Does how you run your brokerage have leaky points when it comes to getting your current agents up and running?
Yep.
Or is it whenever you bring new agents on? Because there's some people, right, that can bring new agents on, and for whatever reason they just get them up and going, but man, they can't get the people in their office doing the things that they need to.
Yeah.
And so what happens is that newer agent, or that new hire that comes on, not necessarily a brand new agent, but that new hire that comes on, for whatever reason stays super close to them for X amount of time, and then gently grows away from them like everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay. So is that because your model? Is that because how you have things laid out? Is that because how you set your business up originally? All of that needs to be looked at before you decide what kind of pressure, what kind of stress test you put everything under.
Yep, absolutely. And so this one's obvious, right?
Yeah.
Turnover.
Right.
And that's just anytime you're just even being a broker.
Right.
Right. But when you start changing things up, or maybe you try and put a little bit extra out there, people are going to notice it.
Yep.
They're going to say, well, it's a little bit different.
Right.
Right. So let's talk about turnover a little bit.
Yeah. So people leave, man. That's just the way it is.
Yep.
It's never easy. I'm not going to say I always took it personal, but I always took it like a loss. Right.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Every person.
Yeah.
Right. And even ones that I didn't care for, or that didn't look at things the same way I did, or whatever, there was always some feeling of loss. Yeah. Because when you recruit, when you onboard someone, you go through paperwork and all that kind of stuff, there's a certain connection there.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so that turnover, are you good at looking at your current agents and going, okay, if I just do this with them, right? If I keep this distance perfectly with them, I know that they're going to produce at this level. Mm-hmm. That's just where they are. If I put pressure on that, I know that's probably going to shift because I've tried it before and I got pushback. At that point, that's not where you go for more productivity.
Yeah.
Right? You go somewhere else for that productivity. Maybe it's not that group of people, or maybe that's whenever it's time to recruit.
Oh, for sure.
Right? But you also don't want to, the man, you got an office full of experienced agents, and every time they walk by your glass door, they see you sitting there with a new recruit.
Yep.
It isn't going to be long before they feel like a number, no matter how much you told them they're not a number.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah, you got to show them.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
And it has to be your culture.
Yes.
Right? And so you got to make sure that you're paying attention to that turnover, and that you're not allowing those things to get away from you. You're not allowing those things to get out of hand, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Yeah, and I would say, going back to what you were talking about with, you saw that, you saw every, one as a loss, every person that switched offices.
Or left the business. Yeah.
Yeah, or left the business. If you're a broker and you don't see it as a loss, mm-hmm. or it doesn't affect you in any way, you're like, whatever, I don't care.
Right.
That's something to maybe take a look at yourself. I'd be more inclined to say that if the brokers that are like, well, I don't care if somebody leaves and whatever, and it doesn't bother them, probably have a higher attrition rate.
Absolutely.
Than the ones that don't, because you really need to say, like, do you really care about the agents that are in your brokerage? Like, do you really want them to win? Right? We say all the time, like, we want to be part of your win.
Absolutely.
And it's every time we get to meet, one of our listeners, or
mm-hmm.
a listener becomes a client of ours or whatever, it's just like, the greatest feeling on the face of the earth, because it's like we truly, just want to help people. So
right. Yeah. The podcast is going to help you win. Our program does it at a whole different level. But the podcast is going to help you win. We want people to win as big as they want to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. And if that's not how you want your brokerage, then I wouldn't go recruit more people. I'd go ahead and fix that within your brokerage. Yep. And there's another podcast coming up that we're going to talk a little bit about that, right? What some of your options are, right? If you don't want to recruit, but you need to. Yeah. If you're listening to all this and you're like, well, shit, recruiting's really what I need to pay the most attention to. But I don't want to do it. Yeah. Man, there's some options for that. Okay. Yes. So.
Sorry, guys. Too much Chick-fil-A, I guess.
Yeah. Carb loading.
Yeah, I kind of loaded up on Chick-fil-A carbs. So the last one, right? Scale grows dollars, but usually shrinks margins.
Right. And that's not me, right? That's business school.
Yeah.
Right. That isn't me. Now tech has changed that just a little bit, right?
Yep, for sure.
But that's what happens, right? At a certain point, the leverage, unless the one is outpacing the other, then the margins begin to shrink. So if you're saying to yourself, okay, man, I gotta make some more profit, right?
Yep.
Is it more profitable for you the way that you're set up to bring more people on, or is it more profitable to get the people that you got more productive? Okay, great example. Let's say that you've got an office full of people, and you've got a cap rate commission plan, and everybody caps every year. Okay.
Yeah.
So does it make a ton of sense to make all of them more productive, right? Or does it make more sense to bring more people in to be in that cap situation?
Yeah.
Right. So you got to take a close look at all of that and see, how much the scale is actually going to help you out. Right.
Yeah. If every time you hire 5 agents, you got to hire a new staff member.
Right. Right. And it exactly measures out that the staff member is what it's right.
Yeah. It's like just a huge push.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. So Matt, anything else before I wrap this up? Put a little bow on it.
But man, we could talk about this all day, but no.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, we appreciate you, so much for listening. Wherever you are listening, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, any of those platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. If you're watching us on YouTube,
what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? And hit that red subscribe button. Hit that bell right beside it. You get notified every time we drop a new episode. Last but not least, I'm going to add one more thing here. Every Friday, which today's Friday, you're listening to this. Every Friday, we are now doing a Brokerpreneur Not So Secret Society. It's absolutely free to attend. I'll put the link in the description below so that you can go down there and register for the next one. gosh, we just, it's basically a big call with a bunch of brokers from across the country, and we come together, we bring a topic, we let you guys talk about it, we chime in, of course, but we love interacting with everyone, and just want to make sure that you guys were invited, and I'll remind you of this at the end of the next podcast and the next one and the next one. So go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com, guys. Check out the sneak peek of Brokerpreneur Fast Track. It is so cool. We're so proud of it, and every broker that's in it right now is just giving us amazing reviews on it, and some pats on the back, and we're super grateful for that. Matt, we do all that stuff that I just said. I blacked out. I don't even know what I said.
Right.
We do all that for one reason alone. Tell them why that is.
Because we want to be part of their win.